Ready for a nap. Me. What are you drinking? Are you having the wine?
This is the wine. This is
sacramental wine.
Yes, it do be the Sabbath.
That's Jeebus's blood.
It's not of my own make. It's also white wine.
Well, I mean, he was white, right?
Yeah. Apparently. It's a whitewashed fucking Jesus.
I believe the church is in better condition than it has been at any time in its entire history. My beloved brethren and sisters,
welcome to Once Upon
a Mormon,
another testament of religious abuse.
So many have been hurt.
Persecutions may rage, mobs may combine.
Whom shall we go?
Sown in corruption. We need you.
Never again.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Once Upon a Mormon. This evening, this fine evening, I'm joined by Sister Donna.
Hi.
Welcome back.
It's me. I'm back.
Me. I'm the problem. It's me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, just another day in paradise, getting over the flu at the moment.
Yeah. I have to, do this distantly because I wouldn't want to, get sick from you guys.
Well, Brother Mosiah has also caught it from me, so I'm in the doghouse at the moment. And I've just pretty much in the last couple of days of it, but it is what it is. It's going around at the moment. Sister May can't join us today because she's fairly unwell also.
Yes, she is very unwell.
It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
Get well soon, Sister May. We love you. We miss you.
Yes. Please get better.
So what's been going on in your life since we last met? It's been a couple of weeks.
It has been a little while.
We had this dedication. We're like, we're going to do it every single week. And then 2 weeks later, we're like, 2-week break.
Really, it's just I think you're the problem. Because I swear that I've messaged a bunch of times and I'm like, hey guys, when are we going to record? And you're like, well, this weekend I'm going to be doing blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well.
I'm trying, all right. I'm trying my best.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Someone has to.
Yeah.
God certainly won't.
Yeah. No. Okay, what was your username on Discord? Flamin' Homo.
Flamin' Homo 666.
Guys, we tried to use a different program to record, and it all failed. We tried to use Discord, and then we tried to use Teams, and both did not work for us. And so now we're back to trusty old Skype.
Skype's a pain because the quality isn't amazing when it comes out in the final sort of recording. As hard as you try, it's a little bit laggy.
Yeah, and our listeners deserve the very best.
The very best. Especially considering we spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on new equipment.
Exactly. And now we're back to using the cheap shit on Skype.
You can't win.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Next week, when we definitely record next week, because it's absolutely going to happen, I will come down. And when it'll be better. Maybe we can get Sister May to come down as well. That'd be cool. Maybe. Oh, wait, does she have her stuff with her?
Yeah, she's got the one. I think she has a whole setup now. We just have to find something that's good to record. So if anyone's got any suggestions on good internet recording that's stable and will work well, please let us know.
Yeah, hit us up. Okay, so what's been happening in my life? What have I been doing?
You've been redecorating your room.
I have, yes. It's been a lot of fun. I had a pretty chill weekend, so I've added a couple shelves and moved some things around, and it's all very pretty, and I love it. And the other week I went out on a job looking for bugs and stuff for work, which was very fun. Not much else is not much has really been happening apart from that. But yeah. My sister came to visit from the States.
Oh, how did
Texas.
that go for you?
That was interesting. I don't know if she like it's really difficult with my sister because like I can't tell if she just like treats everyone like this or if she's treating me specifically like this because I left the church. But like it was so hard to like, because she's been living in Texas for the last like 3-ish years. And, when her and her family were coming to visit, they wanted to be able to see like a bunch of their, her friends. And so she wanted to catch up with a whole bunch of people. So she really filled the time, I guess, and didn't leave a lot of time to come and see me. And I told her in advance, I'm like, if you're going to come and visit Australia, please let me know like well in advance and I'll, book time off work and we'll go do cool things together. And, but she totally like surprised all of us and like just came out of the blue. And I'm like, bitch, what am I supposed to do now? Like I only have weekends really. And like, anyway, I did.
It's your problem. Why didn't you book time off?
Yeah, like it's so annoying. Anyway, but I did manage to see her. We had a really great family dinner last Sunday, which was really nice. And yeah, got to finally meet my niece from Texas. So that was really cool as well. She's adorable. Yeah, she's 18 months old, so she's still pretty shy and very clingy to, her parents. But yeah, it was nice anyway. Yeah, what's been going on with you apart from, having the plague?
Oh, it's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. Tell you what, just one thing after another. I was telling Brother Mosiah the other week, I'm like, look, it looks like things are going to start settling down soon. We'll get a bit of a break. Was I wrong? So my grandmother's been in and out of hospital, which has been, very worrying. It's not been looking good. And we've had a lot on socially, a lot on with work as well. And like last night, went out to see Harry Potter, with the live Queensland Symphony Orchestra. It was all right.
So cool.
It
was all right.
It was
all right. Really?
Yeah. Like they do an amazing job. Like hands down, they're spectacular. But it was kind of like going to an uncomfortable cinema to watch a movie because you kind of forget that they're there because it's so in sync with the movie. You barely even notice.
Oh wait, so they were playing it. Oh right, so they were playing like the movie as well.
Yeah, so it was at the convention center, and so there's thousands of people in there. It was super hot and muggy. The air conditioning couldn't keep up. The seats were really small and uncomfortable, and like where we were, because I booked the tickets, fairly late. We were towards the back corner. And so it's like this tiny little movie screen up above the orchestra, and the lights were shining down in the orchestra so they could see their music. And so then that reflected back onto the screen. So it was just,
I can't see the movie.
And then they
had the lights down.
They had an intermission halfway through, and our two best mates that came with us, he got sick. We walked outside and he was as pale as a ghost, so he went home. They both went home. So yeah, it was a good night. Like we had a great dinner. But other than that, found some cysts on my brain. That was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, didn't expect that. I came up with a good analogy though. So they say your body is a temple. So does that make my head the Sistine Chapel? Brother Mosiah's getting sick of me using that one. I only thought about it yesterday. But
it's fucking hilarious.
So that's been a bit of a health scare. Didn't expect to have to get brain surgery soon. So so much for things slowing down a bit.
Pretty fucking wild. Like, man, actually insane. But I mean, we don't know too much about it yet. It sounds like they're just going to be able to drain the cysts and then you'll be right as rain.
Hopefully. It's funny because they only found them because I I have problems with my sinuses, and they were doing a CT scan of my sinuses, and then the results came back, and they're like, oh, your sinuses aren't too bad. You've got a bit of inflammation, but by the way, you've got a cyst on your brain. Oh, actually, no, you've got two cysts on your brain. And I'm like, great. And the one at the top, it's actually fucking huge.
They're like, do you want the good news or the bad news?
my doctor didn't really know how to take it.
The good news is that your sinuses are fine. The bad news is you might have brain cancer.
So apparently these ones, it doesn't sound like it's cancerous. It sounds like it's just a sack full of fluid. But like on the MRI scans, it's like proper pushing into my brain. And it's like separating the front of my frontal lobes.
Yeah. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, do you think once it's drained and, like, your brain, like, fills that space again,
I'll
like, superpowers?
Well, that's my thought, is that I'll gain full brain capacity. I'm running at half price at the moment. And so I'll, like, start speaking 3 different languages as one sister's over.
You'll suddenly have the gift of tongues.
That'd be wild. All I want is just not to be
you will have oh my God, you'll be able to unlock your full priesthood potential. I bet you'll have like the power of discernment.
I am the prophet.
Yeah. You'll have a direct line of communication between you and God, I bet.
Praise to the Hyrum who come.
I can't wait for you to have this grand spiritual awakening and start the cult we've all been waiting for.
I'm actually kind of interested to see if it does change anything, and it's going to be mildly disappointing if nothing changes.
Yeah, I'll be like, damn it, I'm as dumb as I was before.
It didn't work. I could come out second best and just have brain damage.
What if it's worse and you just put it back in?
Fill it back up. So yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment.
So are you gonna tell our audience what we've named the brain cysts?
Oh, so Sister Donna has come up with a great name. It's the big one that is 4 centimeters by 3.8 centimeters by 2 centimeters is Jared. And the one behind my eye, which is 2 by 2, is the brother of Jared. Because he's the younger brother.
Great. Jared and the brother of Jared. And now in every every episode after this until you get your like brain surgery, like it's gonna start with, say, how is Jared and the brother of Jared? How have they been treating you this week?
I got a very disapproving look when I was at the doctor's, and she gave me the results because my brother Mosiah came along, sitting across, and the doctor had it back to him. And anyway, I'm just like, she's like, oh, you've actually got 2, and I'm like, oh, twins.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Anyway,
I'm so glad that we can make light of this.
Well, you have to have comedy, otherwise things are depressing.
You'll be all right. It'll be right. A-okay.
I just expect to have something come out of it. That's all. Like have some at least
keep them.
I don't know if I can keep them, but if I could at least like not be so tired all the time, that'd be great.
That would be great.
Apparently, some of the side effects of where they press is that because it's literally, oh, Henry.
Sorry, that was Diana. She heard a possum outside. Diana's the other dog in the house. Henry's on the bed. You can see him there. He did you?
What's going on? Yeah, I can
he literally lifted up his head and then
laying behind you.
Immediately went back to sleep.
Oh, Henry. What was I saying about it?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, so it actually they reckon it's might be in like an arachnoidal cyst.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's just a name for it. I don't know what it means, but where it presses, it can the common symptoms for people that had these cysts, which is about I think it's like 3% of the population have them, and they're formed during pregnancy, so during your fetal development.
Oh, right. So you've had these cysts forever.
Potentially, yeah. And then they don't really start impacting into like your 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and like where mine are, sort of affects a lot of like the mental processing. It affects memory. It affects your energy levels and a bit of hormone production as well. And so, so I'm just going to be full of energy and be able to mentally cope.
And control other people with your mind. I'm very interested to see what potential is unlocked.
Yeah.
When you're
so we're all holding out for something good, and then it's just gonna dud.
God, I'm sure it'll all be great. I'm sure there'll be many only positive outcomes.
Exactly. So but there has been a lot going on lately with the church though.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people talking about a bit of news with the church and their tax dealings. Would you care to enlighten us on your research?
Yeah, man. People have been getting angry, me included.
You went off on a fat rant today.
I was so mad. I'm like, this fucking church. Like, honestly. Anyway, they make me angry. Basically, I'm going to do a really bad job at explaining this. So people really should Google this and get all the facts and stuff as well, because I'm sure I'm going to butcher this. But the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has fined the church $5 million for basically, it's not that much really.
For them, it's not.
Yeah. And really, none of it's their money. It's all the members' money. They're just
it's daddy's money.
Yeah. Anyway, so they what was I saying? Oh yeah, so basically the church, right, as we know, has a lot of money, and they invest it, and they've always sort of said that investing it is a wise thing to do, and that's how they they're always saving up for a rainy day and whatever. But anyway, they've been sneaky in trying not to disclose how much money they actually have and how much they're investing in things. So basically the church has a main investment arm or business side that controls their investments called Ensign Peak.
I've seen a little bit about that because they own shopping centers and big stock firms and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically, but the other thing is that Ensign Peak, through authorization from the church, and the thing that I was reading today as well is that the first presidency of the church has to sign off on all of these investment decisions that were made and things like that. So it's not at all in case there's any confusion, fucking what's his face? Russell
Rusty.
M. Nelson. Yeah, Rusty. He's, he knows what's going on. He's not in the dark about it. He's signing off on these things. So basically, the SEC, so the Securities and Exchange Commission, found that from 1997 through to 2019, Ensign Peak failed to file Forms 13F, the forms on which investment managers are required to disclose the value of certain securities they manage. So basically, and according to this order, the church was concerned that disclosure of its portfolio, which by 2018 grew to approximately $32 billion, and we know the more updated from 2020 is $37.8 billion.
It's not a small amount.
Not a small amount. So they, the church thought that disclosing that to the public would lead to negative consequences. Anyway, so to obscure,
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. So anyway, so to obscure the amount of the church's portfolio, what the church did was through Ensign Peak, they created 13 shell LLCs, which are limited liability companies. I had to look that up because I forgot what it was. But anyway, So they basically created these 13 shell companies, and had them linked to addresses throughout the United States, and sort of divvied up, I guess, like the investments between these shell companies. So when they filed these forms, instead of it being like one form from Ensign Peak that was like, yes, we have $37.8 billion, it was a whole bunch. It was like 13 different 13F forms with various amounts. And that is fraudulent because
it was misleading as well.
Yeah, these companies they're not actually like operating where they said they were operating. They're shell companies. Like they're just tied to an address. Sorry, I'm just reading the web page again. So the order found that Ensign Peak maintained investment discretion over all relevant securities, that it controlled the shell companies, and that it directed nominee business managers, most of whom were employed by the church, to sign the commission filings. The Shell LLC's Form 13F misstated, among other things, that the LLCs had sole investment and voting discretion over the securities. In reality, the SEC's order finds Ensign Peak retained control over all investment and voting decisions. So, anyway, basically, the church did this dodgy thing, trying to hide how much money they were actually investing. And something else I read it was an article from the Salt Lake Tribune back in 2020. So this is where they were talking about how the current wealth at that point was $37.8 billion in stocks and mutual funds, and included investments in things such as Amazon, Chevron, and Walmart. Basically, that is what the church is doing with all of their big money. They're building malls and they're investing in things like Amazon, and and it just makes me really mad that they would go to such lengths to hide how much they were making. Like, they talk about secret combinations in the Book of Mormon, and this sounds like secret combinations to me. I'd
say there's sort of different levels of badness. Like the fact that they're going as far as hiding it, it wouldn't quite be as bad if they, fully disclosed it, so that when people would have, informed consent when they're making donations.
Yeah.
But the fact that, in the early days, tithing was established so that way the church could have enough for its needs. But now it's, why do they need $34 billion and have it growing and have all of the members paying 10% of their income? Yeah. Because there are families out there that are struggling to make ends meet, and they're being forced or manipulated to pay 10% of their income before they even meet their own needs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes me so mad about it, because the church is just preying on these innocent people that are just like, we were part of the church. We knew their kind of mindset. You pay the tithing because you think that's the right thing to do, because you're like, you're trying to live up to God's law. You are being manipulated into thinking that what you're doing is a good thing and is going to do good in the world. And the church is just kind of sitting on it and investing it in bullshit like Amazon and and there's literally people that are, starving and struggling to get by that are still expected to pay their 10%. And I think that's so evil that they can do that. So anyway, I thought, now that I've gotten angry, I thought we could play a little game.
All right, I'm ready.
So I found some things. And I was wondering, which of these do you think the church could pay for? All right. So A is the whole GDP of Bolivia. B, $2,200 per member of the church. Solve world hunger for a year. Or D, end homelessness in the USA?
I'm going to go E, all of the above.
Yes. Well, they couldn't pay for all of the above, like with the 37.8 billion. But yeah, with that money, they could do any one of those things. Like they could, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know, can you buy a country with its GDP worth? I don't think that's how it works. But
they bought Utah.
You could buy Bolivia if you can match the GDP. Is that how countries work?
Not quite. But like all of the other stuff, being able to, if they were to liquidate all their assets and sell up everything they had to be able to, prevent world hunger for a year. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And like, they could literally end homelessness in the USA. Like they could provide homes for every single homeless person.
That's the thing. Imagine what they could do for the housing crisis all around the world.
Why would you do that when you can just invest that money in Walmart and make even more money off the people that you're already manipulating?
LDS corporation.
Right? Anyway, so yeah. And they could literally pay. So I worked out. So I Googled how many members were in the LDS church. And I can't remember the number now. You guys can do the maths. But anyway, if you divide $37.8 billion by the number of members in the church, each member could have $2,249.28.
Like imagine if
a fair chunk of money.
They actually gave members money back. You'd be getting money back on your investment.
Right? Yeah.
Your dividends.
Anyway, so yeah, the church sucks and I'm angry.
Well, I think that's a good lead into what we're going to speak about tonight. One of the things that's very prevalent with the church members within the church, and especially those that leave the church, is mental health and the impact that church has on your mental health. I know for myself, I had a lot of mental health problems as a direct result of the church. And it's not even just hereditary or, pre-existing things. It was a direct result of the church. And I've been through a lot of trauma and a lot of counseling to, start resolving some of this. For example, I came home from my mission because of the conditions that I was faced with. And some people may say, oh, it's a mission, it's hard, it's yada, yada. Well, it wasn't really the mission itself. It was the mission president and the toxicity around that and the people that were involved. And the church doesn't accept mental health as valid because you're supposed to just put everything back to God, and then, anything you're feeling is just because you're not doing the right thing. And that in itself is very toxic. How would you say, your mental health was impacted by the church?
Yeah, not for the better, definitely. I've struggled a bit, I think, since coming out of it. And I think the church really does, it was really highlighted to me actually recently, the toxic positivity that exists in the church.
Everything is fine.
Exactly. And because, everything is all about having faith and hope and enduring to the end. You're not allowed to let yourself fall into a heap, and you're not really given the support that you need in that time either. I think the church does try, or at least from a PR perspective, they do, encourage people to get therapy and stuff. But then they also have their own church appointed therapists that
and only get therapy if it's a church therapist.
Yeah, and they're just going to push you back into these toxic belief patterns, which I really disagree with. And I also I've known a couple people. So my ex-husband and his brother both came back early from their missions because of depression, and I know that it's it happens a lot, and and I remember, hearing from them about, those experiences. And I know, yeah, for my ex, he was very like, he felt like, I don't know, you know, like nobody would say it like to his face, but he could sort of feel that people were disappointed in him or didn't think that he tried hard enough, or like he felt very inadequate because he'd come back early. And, you know, and it was weeks before I think he gave his like homecoming talk as well. And
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah. And like, and that's so shitty. And the other thing is that like I've recognized more and more now since being out the kind of the toxic, you know, just the really unhealthy ways that I thought about mental health as well. Because, you know, because my ex-husband struggled with depression for most of our marriage, I think. And, you know, he would have a lot of times where he really lacked the motivation to go to church or participate in things. And that would make me really upset. And I would just like, you know, be blaming him for that and thinking that he just wasn't being faithful enough and wasn't trying hard enough. And
you're
you know,
risking my salvation.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. Like, I'm just like, well, you know, like I've married you to have an eternal marriage and family and stuff. Like, you need to pull your fucking weight. Like, stop being so sad. Let's go to church. But yeah. And like, and I feel so like, just so bad about the way I reacted to those things. And I kind of hope now that I am a little bit more of like, just a little bit more understanding of people and where they're at and the things that they're struggling with. But I think there's still like, you know, more work to be done within myself. But yeah. And I guess like with me personally, like my mental health has suffered. I definitely feel like, like I think losing the church and losing that faith and feeling that betrayal and stuff has really, you know, made me question my role in life and the point of life. And that's led me down some dark roads. I've recently started taking antidepressants, and that's actually made like a world of difference. Like it took a couple of weeks to sort of adjust to. But yeah, I am definitely like feeling the difference now. Like I just feel a little bit more optimistic about life in general, which has been really great. And anyway, so I think like I wanted to have a chat about mental health in the church because I feel like it's such a, you know, it's such a big issue that the church just doesn't really address. And yeah, saying that God can solve these things and that you just need to come unto Christ and like, you know, kind of positioning the church to be like the only source of like true joy and everlasting happiness and stuff. Really fucks with people's mental state.
Yep.
Because you're forever feeling guilty, forever feeling like you're not measuring up, forever like, you know, not understanding why you can't like reach this joy, like eternal joyful state. And I can recognize in myself as well, like while I was in the church, particularly, and it's something that I'm like working on, is that I really like pinned my happiness or like my idea of happiness to like future things where it was all like, oh, I'll be happy when I'm married, or I'll be happy when you know, me and my husband own a house. I'll be happy when we have children or whatever. Like, and I think a lot of that kind of way of thinking very much fell in line with like, you know, the church's doctrine about enduring to the end, and then you'll receive like eternal happiness at the end of your life. So like I was always sort of like looking forward to things in the future. rather than acknowledging, I think, the good things in my present life and being happy in the position that I was in. So yeah. Yeah. And I know that like Sister May is not here to speak for herself, but
we'll talk about her.
We'll talk about her. That girl is crazy. Yeah. No, I know that yeah, she's also going to therapy and stuff and really addressing some of the mental health impacts that the church has had on her life as well. But yeah, there was something that I saw today. I'm not sure if we might have to cut this bit out, but I saw something. I might have screenshotted it. Okay, I don't think I did. Well, never mind. We might have to cut that bit out.
I'm probably going to forget to cut it out. That's okay.
It's okay. I did see a post in one of the ex-mormon groups today about like how, from the time you're 8 years old, when you're in the church, you just feel guilty, like you're forever feeling guilty because you can't remain like totally sinless, and these things that we think are sins sometimes just such innocuous things, like they don't matter in the slightest. And having literal children feel bad for doing things that are like normal and totally okay, and yeah, like that really fucks with your just your whole mental state and ability to,
sort of where you sort of look at how the church really gets its claws into people is that you've got to be able to establish the grip that they have. So, you teach kids from a young age the lovey-dovey fluffy principles of obedience and love and things like that, and you slowly start bringing more and more in until it's too late and they can't get rid of it. And so they feel committed. They feel like they have to do what they're being told, because now there aren't just physical consequences. There's consequences that are coming from a divine being, and your eternal life is at stake, and you're going to burn in hell if you don't. And that fear drives obedience, because that's what a loving God does, is he uses fear to get all his children to listen to him, and likes things to go
like
chaotic.
The best dads, right?
That's the thing. And then you get, especially when you get sort of into your teenage years especially, because you're starting to change, starting to go through things. You have school friends and people around you that are doing completely different things, drinking, drugs, sex, talking about their bodies, talking about, all sorts of different things. And a lot of this stuff is taught as wrong and bad in the church. And so, I remember from my teenage years, even just being around that, listening to it, I felt guilt, and I felt like I was in the wrong and I was sinning. And that takes a toll, because you're constantly in fight or flight. And when your adrenaline works overtime as you're in fight or flight, your body begins to get used to it. And so that dulls your senses when it comes to other things. So by the time I got to the temple, it didn't seem like that big of a problem, because I was just so numb to everything to do with the church. And it was just the next step, and whatever they threw at me, they were going to throw at me, and it wasn't going to be a big problem. Like if I had to murder a child, then maybe I would have. I don't know.
Oh my God, no.
It can be pretty annoying, but it's a dramatic example. But,
it would be annoying.
It wouldn't surprise me if they had blood sacrifices and things like that, and people would do it because that's how cults work.
Yeah. No, I do often wonder about like how much control, the presidency sort of has on the members, like what things they could introduce and have people just blindly follow along with. Like things like with that like something that I've been really kind of questioning a lot lately is whether, you know, the higher ups in the church, whether they know that it's a fraud and they're just like keeping it up because, you know, they get a fat paycheck and like they're just greedy and evil people that are happy to manipulate millions of other people to, you know, for their own benefit, or
I've always wondered that.
Yeah, like I wonder if they, you know, are aware that it's all like a big sham, or if they genuinely like do believe that they are like chosen of God and communicate. Because obviously, like they're not, you know, like they would know that they're not seeing God face to face or like having, you know, these really grand miraculous experiences. So I've kind of like, I don't know, like maybe they join like the Q15 and then like discover later that like, oh, nothing's really changed.
But I guess you look at it as though, like, I remember before I went on my mission.
They're just going to go along with it anyway.
Like, you get all G'd up and you get stories and you get ideas in your head that this is what it's going to be like. And, you know, when I'm a missionary, I'm going to have all these powers and I can command the waters and cast out devils. And when, like, you would have that conception that you would talk directly to Jesus and, you know, he'd come and sit in the board meeting each week when they meet. And realistically, they probably manage that expectation the higher up it gets. But I do ask myself that question, you know, surely there's got to be someone that, you know, is at the top and says, I've got these fools.
Yeah. Like the thing with the, this whole SEC thing, and like the church hiding how much, you know, money it has and it's investing and stuff. I feel like that kind of gives me more reason to believe that the church knows that it's a fraud. Like, because it's pretty fucking hypocritical of them to, you know, say that they believe in being honest and true in all their dealings with their fellow men and stuff, and then go and do shit like this. Like, just seems a little bit hypocritical. And yeah, more and more I'm starting to believe that, yeah, like the higher ups in the church know that it's bullshit, but they are just doing it to manipulate people. And that makes the church not this like harmless thing, you know, with some quirky people, but a truly evil organization that is, you know, really fucking over like a lot of people for their own gain. And that's so... it makes me really angry. And like, you know, there's people that I know who, well, you know, people that I've seen like who have left the church and they don't really want to talk about it, or they don't really want to have that much to do with it, or they're like, you know, it's not, they don't want to tear down they don't want to tear down the church or anything like that. And I feel like I'm the opposite. I'm like, I want to destroy this fucking organization.
Burn.
To burn to the ground. I want every single member to see the light and be like, this is bullshit, and leave. Like, because it's going to perpetually like cause more and more harm. And, you know, like from a state of like, you know, robbing people of their money and like manipulating them into spending what little they have on the church, like that is evil. The culture that they have set up that allows for you know, sexual abuse of children and stuff, like that makes it an evil organization.
Exactly.
The very patriarchal structure that, like, you know,
patriarchal grip
that really kind of denounces femininity in any way, like feminism. You know, that makes it like there's so many things where I'm like, this organization is really awful, like really, really awful. And I think that there should be something done about it. Like, I think that, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an extremist, but
the problem is that religious organizations like this are so often protected by governments that are corrupt. And governments still to this day in you know, you see it in Australia, but more so in America, that they have this undying protection towards religion because they think everyone's trying to tear it down and trying to do away with it. And it's like, well, no, it's just coming undone.
Well, I feel like, I mean, what good has religion really done for the world?
Exactly.
Like, not much. Like, I think there's been more wars and more bloodshed over like people having different beliefs and religions than there has for any other reason.
I believe that religion's the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Bad has only ever come from organized religion. You know, idealistic and theologies and things like that. You know, there are good things that come from it, but organized religion itself, I've only ever seen bad things come from it. Yeah. Because it gives people power over others. And, people shouldn't be ruling over others when it comes to their minds. And,
exactly.
Like it's funny, you look at old movies from America and they're like, oh, are you a Russian spy? Are you from the Soviet era? And it's like, this is literally the same thing. You can't win.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting pretty well on with that episode now.
That's good because I'm starting to get tired.
I'm starting to crash. I've still got to make dinner. So
yeah.
I think we might leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hopefully we'll get Sister May on next time. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Oh, I should also say we did get an email from our dear friends from the Joe and Smith podcast. They responded.
Thanks for coming back, guys. After
all this time. I don't know when. Yeah. I don't know when we're going to get to record with them, but, stay tuned. Maybe one day.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you. Please reach out at onceuponaMormon@gmail.com or follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram at onceuponaMormon.
Yes.
Should be a voiceover actor.
You should.
When I get these cysts drained, I'm going to have a deep, creamy voice then.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose all my weight and be totally ripped as soon as I come out of surgery.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not even going to have to do anything. It's just going to immediately fall off your body. Be a whole new man.
Like that episode that Squidward got his nose job done.
What if you just become a giant asshole though? What if the cysts are pushing on parts of the brain that
It can't be worse than my mom and days.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you'll revert back to that. Will it fuck up your memory in any way?
Mosiah's like, what if you come out of the surgery and you're straight?
Maybe it's the cysts that made you gay.
The gay cysts. The gay cysts are coming.
Yes, that's quite funny because you know how you've had the flu. In my email to the Joe and Smith podcast, I was like, yeah, I don't know when we're gonna get to record with you guys. Brother Hyrum is afflicted by the greatest disease known to man, homosexuality. He also has the flu.
The gay man flu, not just the man flu.
Yeah. You've heard it here. You've heard it here first. You've heard it here first, folks. God, I can't even talk. It's not even 8 p.m.
Let's just let it go.
All right.
In the name.
Well, this was fun.
In the name of Brother Henry.
Oh,
the long dog.
I was gonna say in the name of Jared and the brother of Jared. Our gay cysts.
Our gay cysts. Go off, cysts.